avocados that were like that big, or papaya, or mango. It was crazy. It had everything. They also had green-looking bananas that are called plantains. They had those everywhere.
Were they good?
I didn't like them that much, but other people love them. All right, this is, what does it look like to you guys? A motorcycle is what it looks like. It's called a boda boda. And I have no idea what that means, but a boda boda is like a bicycle, motorcycle. It's kind of more like a dirt bike, but these things carry people on them. And I've seen a boda boda that had 4 people riding on it. Can you imagine that? Like, yeah, they had one guy driving, one person sitting behind them, and then they had a back seat, and the people were sitting back to back, so their legs were hanging off the side. It was crazy. Boda bodas, you see them everywhere. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And they carry, I saw one that had 4 cases of water bottles on it. So it was like this high, just hanging on the back of a motorcycle. It was crazy. Also, this is kind of what Uganda looks like. Does that look like New Mexico? No. It's very, very pretty. Lots and lots of grass, lots and lots of trees, lots of vegetables, fruits. So like here in this picture, there are some trees that I think corn's over there in a little bit. On this side where I didn't take a picture, there was those plantain trees, the green bananas. Okay, what is this? A crocodile. We got to go on a safari where we saw all of these crazy cool animals. So first we saw a crocodile. Do you guys know what this is? Does anyone know what river it is? The Nile River. So think about Moses from the Bible. Remember how his sister and mom put him in a basket and had him float down the Nile River? This is the Nile River. We got to see it. And actually, Bevan's sister put her hand in it. I was like, that's nasty. I'm not doing that. But she did it. This is also another picture. It is huge. We had to take this boat to get us from just across it. Not even down the river, just across it. Like, it was ridiculously big. Okay, this was out on our safari. It is beautiful there. Can you guys tell what's down here? Elephants. There was elephants everywhere. Okay, also, I have absolutely no idea what this is called. I was calling it the African deer. That's not its name. But they are really, really pretty. They're actually like that color. They're like orange. Isn't that cool? And it has horns that are super cool. This is like, I think, one of the national animals for Uganda. Oh, really? All right. Has anyone seen The Lion King? Okay, this is Pumbaa over here. This is Pumbaa. Looks a little bit different than the movie. Okay, this is another one of those like African deer, but this is the female. I have no idea what it's called. Okay, what is this? Dragonfly. Do we see a lot of dragonflies here? No. Maybe if you go like where there's water, but this picture is taken right by another really big lake. So there's tons of dragonflies everywhere. It's actually a lion cub. We don't know if it's a male or a female. And so we were driving on this safari, and we're in a bus. And the bus is just like super bumpy. And when we saw this lion, it was towards the very end of the day. And we were all really, really tired. And our tour guide said, okay, I have to tell you, lions are super, super lazy. And I was like, hey, I like that. But then they were like, so we probably won't see a lion. I'm really sorry. We can look. We'll drive this way and look. And we're driving down the road, and my whole team is like looking out front. And I look back to tell someone something, and I go, lion, over there. And we back up the bus, and it's like this lion cub that's just chilling. And like he wasn't mean, he wasn't aggressive, he wasn't running towards us at all. And he just stayed there for like 30 minutes. But then our tour guide goes, that's a baby cub. And we're like, so? And our team leader goes, where's the mama? So instead of leaving, we explored a little bit more on our bus. We drove around and we found the mama lion. I didn't get a really good picture of her because she was sleeping. But this guy was super cute. I don't even know if it's a he or she, but it was like my favorite. I don't have it with me. All right, what are these? Okay, but do you notice? It's a little baby elephant. I love babies. All right, what is this? Hippo. Now look closely. This is the same hippo. Do you see what is right there? It's a baby hippo. Did you know we saw a hippo do this a few times? The baby wasn't able to get up out of the water, and so the mom would push it up with its head so it could get some air out of the water. It was super cool. All right, now we're moving on to some people. These kids, these kids got a really cool story. Hoffmantown Church, like 6 years ago, helped build a school called Upendo. Upendo is a school for kids who maybe have lost both of their parents. Their parents might have been sick and died. Or maybe their parents just wanted to go to a really good school. So there's a combination of orphans or kids that have one parent, things like that. And these kids all come to this school called Upendo, and they learn about Jesus, and they learn things just like you guys. They learn English, math, science, history, things about like this part of your body is called the head, that's your foot, things like that. So these kids are just like you. And we got to spend quite a few days hanging out with them. And in this picture are some of the older kids. I think they're probably 10 to 14 in here. And there's also, I think, 3 of our team members. Brandon is right there. Cameron's right there, and then Blythe is back there. So these kids were awesome. They had really big dreams. They loved Jesus, and they wanted to just spend time with us, which was really, really cool. Now, we brought some stuff, like some toys for these kids. And that is actually Miss Diane. She works here at church. But these kids loved bubbles. How many of you guys like bubbles? I love bubbles. See, so you guys are just like these kids. They love the same things that we love. Okay, this is my friend. His name is Joseph. Joseph is, I think, about my age. He just finished what they call university or college. He graduated studying how to play the guitar and sing, which is super cool. Like, I wish I could do that. And before I left for Uganda, my team people said, you have to meet Joseph. You're going to love him. He plays the guitar. You guys are going to get along great. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to go and teach him all these really cool things about the guitar. And then I get there, and did you know Joseph is like one of the best guitar players I've ever met? I could not teach him a single thing. He actually taught me a lot of stuff.
Can you show?
Not right now. I would love to sometime. I have some new songs to teach you guys too, some Ugandan songs.
Are you gonna?
So, this is Joseph, my friend. He is awesome, awesome guy. Okay, how many of you guys remember Miss Blythe? Me.
Not me. Not
She
me.
went on the trip with us. That was our photo time together. All right, now there's going to be like 4 kids I want to tell you about. 4 or 5. And these kids have really cool stories, and they're just like you guys. Okay, this girl is Tessay. It's like, I don't even like to say a word, but Tessay. She is 8 years old and goes to school at Upendo. She is beautiful and super, super sweet. And she has this dot on her head because she found some paint and put it on her head. Let's see. The first day I got there, she was the first kid to come up and just grab my hand. And she just wanted to play. That's all she wanted to do. Now this next girl, so that's Tessay again, and the girl next to her is Sarah. Sarah is very, very sick. But she loves Jesus, and that just shows through her. I mean, look at her smile. She is a happy, happy kid. But she's also very, very sick. So I want you guys to pray for her, because we have really cool doctors here, and we have very big technology and things like that they don't have. And she cannot get the same kind of attention we do. So just pray for Sarah. Super name, easy name. Remember her face. Okay, this is my bud. This is Rhodey. Rhodey is, I think, 10 years old, and he's very, very quiet. How many of you guys are very, very quiet?
I think you got sunburned.
You're not. I'm just kidding. So if you're very, very quiet, you're a lot like Rhodey. Rhodey, he didn't say much while we hung out together, but we played ball for a while. And he was really, really good, and he was super fast, and I'm super slow, so that was hilarious. But Rhodey, he just wanted a friend. There's a lot of kids at these schools, and a lot of the kids can be kind of mean. So I was his friend for the day, and that was a lot of fun. Everywhere that I would go, Rhodey would follow me right behind. And so I got a picture with him. Super cool kid. All right, that is the other girl you did not see in our picture, the one wearing the, I don't know if that's gold or yellow shirt. Her name is Casey. She's from Tennessee. She went with us. The girl next to her is Barbara. Barbara's 15 years old. Do any of you guys have any brothers or sisters that are 15?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So at 15 years old in Uganda, they're considered in high school. And here it's the same thing. But she only has like a year or so left until she goes to college or university. And Barbara loves learning. We were having a session for some other girls, and Barbara was not invited to the session. Yeah, it's kind of sad. So she stood outside the door and put her head against the door and listened to what the teacher was saying the entire time, because she wanted to learn about Jesus. What? See, there's a thing called sponsoring a child. And sometimes our families will sponsor a kid in another country to help them go to school. Barbara does not have a sponsor. So she was not allowed to go to the conference. But she wanted to learn a lot about Jesus. And while I was there, I started to notice all of these kids wanted to go to school. How many of us actually want to go to school? See, that's what I thought. But did you know that school is actually a privilege? No. It's kind of crazy to think about. These kids, because their families don't have money, they can't go to school. So, I would encourage you guys, school may not be fun, but just think about that. There's kids in Uganda right now whose families can't afford to send them to school, so they just have to get a job, and they might work at a fruit stand for the rest of their lives and not make a lot of money. So school is very, very important. But I got to talk to Barbara, and she wants to be a doctor when she grows up. So I'm really hoping that she gets a sponsor and gets to be a doctor. Okay, last one. This is Catherine. Catherine was standing off by herself when I met her. And there's probably 150 kids all around, and she was all alone. So I went up to talk to her, because who wants to be alone? And I got to talk to her. Her name's Catherine. I was like, hey, our names mean the same thing. So Caitlin and Catherine mean pure. So I was like, hey, cool. And I got to talk to her, and something really cool about Africans is they're amazing at dancing. Like, when I say amazing, like, they are amazing at dancing. And I am not. So I was like, Catherine, are you good at dancing? And she was very, very quiet, and she goes, yes. And I was like, that's really cool, because I'm not good. And she just laughed at me. She was like, ha, 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 duh. So Catherine, I got to talk to her. She's 13 years old and wants to be a lawyer when she grows up. A lawyer is someone who goes to court and will fight for people and things like that. So she's wearing an orange shirt. An orange shirt means that she is sponsored. So that's really cool, because that means there's a family here in America that's paying for her to go to school that can help her become a lawyer later in life. So it's super cool. What was common about all of these kids is they loved Jesus just like you and me. They wore the same clothes just like you and me. And they liked to do the same things that you and I do. So I was really shocked with how similar they are to all of you guys and to me. So to finish it up, this was our team picture in front of the Nile River. So I want you guys to take away from this that, first of all, there are kids across the world that are just like you. They love Jesus, and they also need to hear about Jesus. A lot of these kids that we encountered have gone to school, and they know about Jesus, but their families don't. So these kids have to be missionaries in their own home. Like we were missionaries to them, they have to be missionaries to their family. So first, I want you guys to pray for these kids. Second, these kids, like I said, are being missionaries in their home. And they're the same age as you. So that means you guys can be missionaries around you. So tell your friends, tell all of those people you encounter, all about Jesus and how much you love Jesus and what he means to you. So I'm going to take 3 questions. Any questions about Uganda? Sawyer. How much money do they make? Oh, I totally forgot it. So, a little bit later I'll come around to you guys, but I brought Ugandan money also, because it's totally different than American money. They do shillings there. So, 1 American dollar is worth like 2,500 shillings. That's a lot of money. But depending on where you work is how much you make, kind of like here, depending on what job you do is there. But, let's say I met a kid named Martin whose leg is very, very bad. It's broken and his hips are not correct. So his family's trying to get him surgery. The surgery would cost 400 American dollars, but for them, that's 1,000,000 shillings. And they don't have money for that. So that's kind of, these families don't make a lot of money at all. Wow. All right, George. Ooh, the toilets. Just like ours. A lot of the toilets, though, the tank where you flush it was like taller than me, so I don't know how you guys would have flushed it. But, so the toilet tank is up here, but then they buried the toilet in the ground. Really?
You have to pee in the ground?
All right,
Yep.
Kiara. Did I spend a night there? Did I spend a night in Uganda? I spent 17 nights in Uganda. Did you know that when you sleep there, they have really bad mosquitoes that carry really bad diseases? So you have to sleep under a mosquito net. And it's like, how many of you guys have seen like a princess canopy bed with like drapes that come down off of it? Okay, that's kind of what it looked like, just not as pretty. So there's like this giant net that comes over your bed, and you just have to hope that you don't have a hole in yours, because then the mosquitoes come in and like eat you alive.